Hello and welcome to video number 3, where we're going to do just lots of really nice stretching, not holding too long, just a full body stretch where it's going to feel so amazing after, and it'll probably feel amazing during. So this is a really feel good type of a yoga class, especially if you have blankets. I like a minimum of 3 blankets when I do yoga. Because it can. Yeah, that should be good. 3 should be good. That's lots. So grab your blankies. And when you're ready, we'll settle into a child's pose or whatever pose you have chosen to be your starting position or centering position. So getting all nestled in to your Balasana child's pose. I'll say child's pose, but whatever pose works for you. Once you're all settled in, take that moment, just like we did last time, to feel that connection between the earth and your body. So wherever those points meet, maybe that's the forehead if you're in Balasana, or the knees and shins. Just feel that contact with the earth. And what that does is it starts to bring you into the present moment. And it signals to your brain and your body that you're about to do something amazing. And then take the next few moments to set an intention for your practice. With so many benefits to yoga, just picking one of them, whether that's more strength or flexibility, better sleep at night, more energy during the day, or maybe it's a combination of everything. Maybe it's the same intention as yesterday, or maybe it's something different today. But take a moment to find one and let it sink in. From here, take 3 slow, deep breaths through the nose. Really expansive breath. So see if you can take an extra sip of air at the top of each inhale. And squeezing out that last puff of air at the bottom of every exhale. When all 3 deep breaths are complete, we'll start to make our way all the way up and back to a downward facing dog. This will be the most yang-like pose in our practice today. So we'll do mostly just like Gu Yin type stretching, but this one, a little bit of strength. But we can still use a strength posture and focus on the stretchy parts of it. So that'll be the backs of the legs, feeling that stretch. The arms are very strong, of course, but really feeling that in the backs of the legs, and maybe even trying to isolate. Do I feel that more in the upper legs, or is it more in the calves, or is it more in the ankles? Not doing anything about it, but just noticing. We're trying to build that connection, that mind-body connection, just knowing where your body's at. And then slowly lowering through hands and knees. Give yourself a moment. And then when you're ready, come on all the way to seated in Dandasana staff pose, the feet forward. Lifting up nice and tall. We'll head into our first stretch of the day, which is Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose or round angle pose. So soles of the feet together and drawing them in close towards the body. I have to do a big stretch to reach my blankies. So from here, make sure you have your blankies first. And then lifting up tall in an inhale. We're not here as long as we usually are in a yin practice. Little short holds, like a minute long. We often hold for like 3 minutes or more. This one's just a little bit. So finding your edge, almost like a practice session for our yin classes coming up when we level up to the next longer sessions for our classes. So you're finding your edge, you're still tuning inward, not pushing past your edge, taking a few moments and a few deep breaths here. And then slowly, slowly, come on all the way up. From here, heading into a reverse plank, but not a full reverse plank. Feet are forward, leaning back onto the hands, like a fair ways back, fingers pointing forward, so not tipping out to the sides, but they're forward. And then start to straighten through the elbows and lift the heart. For me, this one's a really intense stretch. For you, it might not be. If it's not, that's okay. That just means that your shoulders are quite open. If you are feeling a fairly intense stretch right down to your wrists and even the fingers, that is totally normal as well. Both normal, both totally okay. If you're not feeling a stretch, see if you can lift the chest even higher. If it feels okay in your neck, like right, once you get to a certain height of the chest, it feels awkward to keep the head neutral. So allowing the head to drop back when the chest is level with the earth. Couple deep breaths. And slowly come on up. Oh, for me, that one's a doozy. Heading into caterpillar for yin, or a forward fold Paschimottanasana. So all we're doing is walking the hands forward, shins, ankles, toes, whatever you can reach. And I like to actually put blankets like on top of my legs so I can like relax. Just taking a few deep breaths here. We're not here too long. And slowly come on all the way up. From here, we'll step the feet apart. It's good to go slow, though, as we come out of each pose. So taking your time, come on out. And at the time of this video, it's like summer, but I like blankets on the floor unless you're going to turn sideways on your mat because I'm wimpy and I find everything cold. I usually still am wearing like boots and a parka in the beginning of August, so I like to not have any part of my legs touching the floor crack. So from here, stepping your feet wide apart and then walking forward, maybe with your blankie, maybe not. I feel like it's just moral support having a blankie. And when you feel the stretch, just pause, slow, deep breaths through the nose. Finding your edge, but not pushing past it. Slowly start to come all the way up. You might want to even take your time bringing the feet in to a cross-legged position. From here, a little stretch for the shoulders. So we interlace the fingers behind the back. So it'll look like this, but behind your back. And then begin to straighten through the elbows as much as they'll let you. So for some of us, they won't go all the way straight. But we're trying to target the front of the shoulders for a stretch. And you can also double up a little bit by looking down. Sometimes my neck cracks a bit. You don't want to try and force your neck to crack, but if that happens organically, sometimes that feels nice. And release. The next one is a low lunge. So we'll step one foot forward. You can start with your right foot forward, left leg back. I like to have a cushion underneath my back knee. So this is a nice long stance this way. And then lifting up tall, we want to lower the body as much as it will, but not crunching over. So lengthening and then lowering if that's available while you keep the spine long. So it's like you're looking to the horizon the whole time, feeling a stretch, but not going too far. We're only here about a minute. And slowly switching sides. So come on out all the way first, bringing your front foot back, maybe changing your cushion if you're using one, and then the other foot forward. Taking the same care and attention on that second side. So lengthening through the spine first, and then lowering with a long straight spine. So you're lengthening, heart's moving forward. And then slowly, slowly start to come out. This next one is actually for the arm, and it's a bit awkward. So if the only way I can really talk about it is to show you. If you have a B mat, it might be a little bit too sticky, so I like to put a blanket, but without any lumps in it. This is for the arm. What we're going to do is lay face down and take your right arm. This will be my left, but I'm facing the camera, so it should look like my right arm. And I'm facing forward, but you kind of see what I'm doing here? I'm feeling a stretch on the outside. So I'm trying to square my shoulders up and eventually lower down. If you're not feeling the stretch, you might be just really open here, or you can kind of shift a little bit. You don't want to overstretch this, okay? So just a little bit of a stretch to feel the arm. Only here a minute. Find the edge, but don't push past it. Just to the edge. And then slowly, slowly come on up and switching sides. So same thing, shoulders are square. And then if this doesn't feel awkward, it's probably not right. That's my thinking, but I have fairly tight shoulders, so. Remember, slow, deep breathing. Slowly, slowly. Coming all the way up. Since we're on our bellies already, heading into Sphinx or Seal. So propping up onto the forearms. If this is enough of a stretch for you, stay there. If not, heading up into Seal. Scooch forward again. So trying to feel a nice stretch in the spine. And hold. And slowly, slowly release. I'm here finding a child's pose for a few moments to release the spine. And come on up. Heading into Dandasana staff pose. And bringing the feet forward. And we'll prepare for Agni Stambhasana fire log pose. Or in yin it's called square. So what we do is we bend the left leg and right leg goes on top. Ankle over knee, knee over ankle. So we might be even leaning back if that's a big stretch. This is actually a really big stretch. And if you have tight hips, it's pretty crazy. So you can lean back here, or maybe you're upright a little bit, but you've got a block between the knees or the knee and the foot, or beneath the knee on the other side. So finding what position works best for you. This is one that took me forever to get. This one is a doozy, and I've worked on this one for a long time. The good thing about this one, though, is that it tends to open up a little bit faster than like center splits, for instance. So this one's a good one if you want to actually see that progress. If this isn't stretching for you, some people naturally, even people who aren't very flexible, sometimes people just this position, their legs just externally rotate in their hip socket. So we could be anywhere. As long as you're feeling a stretch, you're doing good. If you're flat on the floor and you're not feeling a stretch, that's okay. That can happen to a small number of people. That happens too. If that's you, enjoy. If that's not you, then you might need to stay silent like me. Few deep breaths. And slowly coming all the way out into Dandasana staff pose. Maybe a couple little knee taps. Preparing for the other side. So this time, left leg on top of right, and maybe you stay back a bit. Wherever your edge is, wherever you get stuck, just stay. Eventually, knee over ankle, ankle over knee, maybe with some blocks or some pillows, cushions, couch cushions, whatever you've got available. When you're ready, walking forward if that's in your practice. If not, just stay where you are. Closing the eyes even. We're not here long, so really enjoy it. Breathing deep. We're almost done the whole class, so really softening into those spaces that feel the stretch. And slowly, slowly start to come out. Releasing back into Dandasana staff pose, couple little knee taps. From here, heading into an arm stretch. So it's like Gomukhasana arms, but we're only doing half of them. So with your right arm goes up, bending it back, and then the left hand guiding the arm. So you're not reefing on it, you're just guiding that arm back. We're targeting in here for a stretch, maybe even down in here. So we're drawing the elbow mostly just upright, actually, until you feel a stretch. If you're not quite feeling a stretch, if you're quite flexible in this direction, you can maybe lean up and over, but wherever you're moving, move slowly, 1/4 millimeter at a time. Finding your edge, but not pushing past it, breathing through it. And slowly, slowly release. That's one I don't like doing, but after it feels amazing. And just take a moment to feel one side, which feels amazing, another that feels bleh. So let's even that out. Ready? Left arm goes up, sending it back. Right arm guiding the top elbow ever so gently. Slow, deep breathing. And slowly, slowly, slowly release. And just taking a moment. And then we'll lay all the way back and head into twisted roots. So that's for our spine. So we'll lay all the way back. And then once you're all the way back, bend both knees into your chest, cross the right leg over the left, and then send the knees over to the left as you shift the hips back to midline. And then we'll look over the right shoulder, really trying to keep that right shoulder on the ground. And scoop the belly in, press the low back into the floor as you unravel and unwind. Squaring everything up, and we'll hug the knees into your chest and gently rock from side to side, Apanasana. And then prepare for the other side. Left leg will cross all the way over the right, sending the knees over to the right as the hips shift to the left, keeping that shoulder pinned down to the ground. And scoop the belly in. Press the low back into the floor. Unravel, unwind. Once again, hug the knees in, rocking side to side. And from here, we'll just head into our final stretch, happy baby, clasping onto the outer edges of the feet. Try to keep the tailbone on the floor or the low back. It tends to curl up, and that could kind of not necessarily bruise, but it might not feel so super on the low back. With the soles of the feet facing up to the sky, gently draw the knees down towards the floor. We're not here long, just a couple deep breaths for 1, and 2, and release. It's time to prepare for Shavasana. So feel free to grab whatever you need to feel cozy, teddies, blankies, snowsuits, whatever you need. And then laying all the way onto your back. And as always, if your back needs a little extra support today, feel free to keep those knees bent with the feet on the floor. Otherwise, extending the legs and the arms along your sides, palms facing up. And closing the eyes. Softening everything, but especially through the neck and the shoulders, and all the way down the arms, letting the fingers softly curl, softening through the face, softening around the eyes, and even the muscle between the eyes. Just letting it all go. Maybe even noticing where you meet the earth. Feeling that connection. Feeling heavy. And if you'd like to stay a while, feel free to do so. Otherwise, starting to come back, wiggling fingers and toes, and gently roll your head from side to side. And reaching your arms above head on the floor, give yourself a big stretch, feeling totally refreshed. And bending your knees. Gently roll over to the right side and pause there for a few moments. Let your body adjust as you slowly come back. And slowly start to press yourself all the way up to a comfortable seated position, taking all the time you need. But when you arrive, palms facing up on the knees, inhale, sitting up tall, and exhale, softly close the eyes. Taking those final moments to thank yourself for showing up to your practice today, for taking care of you. And one other little silent thought for anyone who might need that extra thought today. And slowly open the eyes. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. I will see you next time. Have a really good rest of your day.